Welcome to Frida's Recipes. Today we're making coriander tea. All you really need for this recipe is the one ingredient, that's coriander seeds. I do, however, add ginger to it every time I make it, just a small piece of ginger chopped up. Sometimes I add cinnamon sticks or a little bit of cinnamon powder if I'm having any sort of bodily pains or inflammation of any sort, mostly if I'm having some kind of cramping or muscle pains after a workout, whatever it is. At that point I will add some cinnamon to this recipe. I always add a piece of ginger. That's just my preference. I find the taste a little bit better, and it's also good for you. Ginger is always good for you, so there's no harm in adding some ginger. But the bare minimum of this recipe is coriander seeds. So this is what coriander seeds look like for anyone who doesn't know. And what you need to do is put a pot on the stove, throw the seeds in, make sure the pot is dry, no oil. Do not add any oil or anything to it. Just make sure it's a dry pot. Turn it on high at the very beginning so that it heats up quickly. Put in the coriander seeds and start to, sift them around here and there. Don't continue to sift them continuously, otherwise they will not roast. But you have to roast the seeds for about 3 minutes. 3 to 5 actually, depending. It took me about 5 minutes because this pot is pretty bottom heavy, so it took a while for the heat to transfer up. But as you can see over here in the video, there are a lot of seeds that are getting a lot darker. They look toasted. It's not going to burn out or anything that quickly. So if you're standing right there watching it, just swift it around a little bit if you feel like it's going to burn, and then let it roast. And when all of the seeds get to a darker brown color, much darker than it is right now, at that point you will add some water, and I'll tell you at that point. So to be completely honest, I don't much like cilantro or coriander, either the leaves or the seeds per se, in any of my food. But some recipes call for it and you have to use it. But I do love it in this tea. And I have to be honest, this tea is quite bitter. It's a really strong taste. And at this point, while you're roasting it, you'll start to smell the coriander seed releasing its oils and fragrance. It's a pretty heavy scent. Not a bad smell. It's not a gross smell, but it is a heavy, strong smell. So as I mentioned before, even if you don't like cilantro, you might actually like the coriander tea, just because, well, I do, and I don't know why that is. It is a bit different, so I would recommend you try this out. Now remember, this is a recipe that we use only typically for when we have a fever or a cold. It's supposed, whenever in Sri Lanka I have ever had a cold or fever of any sort, my grandmother would make this and give me this bitter cup of tea. I used to hate it back then, but it works wonders. It really works wonders. Try it. If you're not allergic to it, try it. So at this point, as you can see, I've already added my couple of pieces of cinnamon sticks and a couple of pieces of ginger. I'm adding about 2.5 cups of water to this. It's probably a lot more water than I should have added. As you can see, the coriander seeds are a lot darker in color. They are toasted, and so I added the water. Now I'm going to add 2 ingredients that are absolutely not that necessary for this at all. It's not something I use in a regular, but I thought I'd try it. My aunt in India told me that she adds basil and oregano. So I just decided to add a 1/4 teaspoon of oregano, dried oregano. So this is, I don't know how much of a health benefit it's going to be, because the dried stuff is not as great as the fresh stuff. We all know that. She adds the fresh stuff anyway. But I just thought I'd try it in this recipe. You can try it or not. Usually I don't put that in my coriander tea at all. So I'm just trying it this one time. It's not going to be a heavy difference in the flavor because it's only a very small amount. And that's when I just added the extra 1/2 cup of water because I felt like it wasn't enough. So basically bring it to a boil. Bring it to a full boil and then turn the heat down to about medium, but make sure there are still bubbles. Don't let the bubbles completely go away. You have to reduce the water by half. When the water is reduced by half, you have coriander tea. This is amazing for a cold, and if you're feeling under the weather, it's incredible. It works wonders. I find that I get a lot of energy from drinking this, and also I feel very soothed and calm at the same time. I don't know how that works, but it makes me pretty calm and also energetic at the same time. So reduce the water to half of the amount that you had put in. Once it evaporates and it's gone down quite a bit, then you can strain the tea. You have to strain the tea. You don't want to bite into actual coriander seeds. That's kind of disgusting. But strain the tea into a cup, and you can actually some palm sugar or kithul to this. That's how I drink it. I add a little bit of palm sugar or kithul. Worst case scenario, some brown sugar. You don't need the sugar, but it isn't a sweet tea. So if you want sugar, don't add white sugar. White sugar is just horrible for your health, and it's disgusting anyway. So as you can see, I duplicated the last reel 3 times. Anyhow, if you like this recipe, please make sure to like and subscribe and share this video with everyone. Please do try it. It's great for your health.